So the big question is, will King go to Didak? And he is starting in the middle, but it looks like he's going to start alongside Luke Ball. Saturday afternoon footy underway at the G.
And it's the Tigers footy to Tuck. Maxwell comes out to meet it in his first game back, but Ben Johnson it is in his 200th who came up with it, although Collingwood are a little untidy here. Polo back in business for Richmond. Martin scrambling it forward. Nason caught behind. Goldsack was pushed. So it's Collingwood's footy. But a promising move to the punt road end by the Tigers.
Goldsack gives it off to Didak, goes wide. This is Reid. An impressive season for the youngster. On the left to the interchange gates, right up against the boundary line. McCaffer kicked 3 last week as a negating forward for St Kilda to half forward in front doors. Good strong contested mark, gives it off to Davis, and now they're on the burst, and Lee Brown should be on the end of this. Does he play on? No.
Gee, it was good play. It was good play by the doors mark, and then the instant handball to Davis and the weighted kick by Davis. He just knew he had to pop it over the head, let Lee Brown run back towards the goal square to mark it. We see this kick. It's just a beauty, just weighted perfectly, and the big fella didn't play on. Kicked 3 goals last week for the Magpies, and doing a good job in place of Travis Cloak.
11 seasons, 3 clubs, more than 200 games. You wind him up and he puts it straight into the post. So
he should have played on, Bliney.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't. I just want to go back to Ben Nason got caught behind and gave the free kick away down the other end. Rob, the first thing you're taught as a forward, if you're going to be any good, when there's a scrimmage, just move slightly to the front and be on the move.
Yeah.
Getting caught behind like that as a forward is really not a good play.
That was a shocking miss, it has to be said. Maybe he can have a go from 60. He started pretty well, Lee Brown, although that pass is a misfire as well. And it is that man, Jake, getting in the hole for Richmond. He got himself into a little bit of bother, but he controlled that well to Cousins, who started brilliantly last week, and as Robert Wall said pre-match, produced one of his best games for the Tigers. So Collingwood are behind, Richmond not on the board, and the ball is forward of the wing for the Magpies as Graham and Jolly jostle. The big Tiger wins it. Tuck not getting it out of there.
the Pies kicking to the city end, and of course the Tigers to the punt road end. Jolly goes to ground. Graham kept his feet. Swan applies the tackle. On all fours was Ball. Trying to barge his way through. There was Martin. It comes out to Didak. Now Davis. Here's Johnson in his 200th. Pokes it to centre half forward, but there's no one home. Dawes runs onto it. Gives the handball off to Swan. Good smother though by Connors. Picking up the loose ball. Coming through there was Ball, in fact, but the Tigers can swoop here. Have they got the numbers? Will it sit up for Martin? No. Scramble. And the boundary line will have another throw in from pretty much the same spot where we started just a few moments ago.
A lot of players around this footy at the moment. It's a hard footy to win, Rob.
Yes, and Collingwood certainly trying to bring each other into the game, but the skills just aren't quite there at the moment.
Thomas to Pendlebury. Goldsack tied up, and a good steal for the Tigers by Collins. Post putting it in front of Collins, but the pressure told. Didak. Here's Polo as a free kick, and it's going Collingwood's way. Just a minor hold. Luke Ball takes it and gives to Maxwell, who feels the footy in his hands.
So Maxwell at centre half back can start the springboard here over to O'Brien. It was a little sloppy. Prestigiacomo needed to get rid of it, did just in time. Kicks to the attacking side of the wing. Swan. We'll see plenty of him this afternoon. McCaffer gives it off to side bottom and then needs to hit a target inside 50, and it lands on the chest of Davis. Wheels around and it's a stabbing ball. The target there, unable to take the mark, was Pendlebury, but he regathers. He's got time, assesses the options, but it's not a good kick. And floating back, taking the defensive mark, is Collins.
Plays safe and wide for Cousins. So Collingwood doing the attacking. Richmond at the moment just covering up, trying to hold the Magpies at bay. Cousins keeps it wide, but it's all Collingwood. 2-on-1. Goldsack coming over the top post, never really able to impose himself on the contest. Ball didn't quite cross the line in its entirety. Most of it did. Collingwood could be dangerous here as they swarm the ball. Side bottom, just not quite able to distribute it either cleanly or in time to satisfy the umpire. Ping for holding it.
And the switch is on. They go wide to Nason, who goes wider still to Revolt. A long way from home.
Yes.
There is no one inside forward 50.
That's why he has to stop and wait till they get down there. But Jack Revolt, his opponent is Presti Giacomo, and Presti played on Jack's cousin Nick last week.
And he lets himself down with the kick. It goes to Jolly, to Swan, who was looking for Johnson. This is scrappy play. Johnson goes and gets it again, and now he's off. On the trusty left, will kick to the top of the goal square. McCaffer just out-muscled Dan Connors on that occasion, and a good, strong contested mark.
Rob, I want to get back to that point as we watch this in replay, that Revolt with no one to kick on a wing, I reckon, is a tragedy of modern football. A one-out forward, just 40 metres from goal, would have been perfect then.
Yeah.
I would never, ever give up anyone not being in the forward line.
Forwards don't hold their positions, do they? They feel compelled to push down to the other end of the ground, and I think they overdo it. I think you always need to have one or two inside your forward 50.
Brent McCaffer booted 3 last week, a career high, and he's got the opener here at the MCG. And after 6 minutes, the Pies open proceedings.
Well, they've had 6 entries into their forward 50, the Magpies. Richmond's just had the 1, so just on weight and numbers, they had to eventually get a goal. And you can see Benny Johnson, the 200 gamer. He was able to win it, sidestep, and it was a wobbly old floater that he put into the forward line, but McCaffer held his ground. Good body work and pretty handy player for the Pies.
Certain inevitability about Collingwood eventually breaking through for the first. Lee Brown hitting the post from point blank range. McCaffer making no mistake. All the Magpies so far. Martin, though, gives the Tigers first go at it here. But Polo led to it by Maxwell.
Oh, this is, once again, attack, forward behind. Quick kick out of a pack.
And that's a good placement. Wellingham, I think, just off the bench. And Maxwell spotted him and had enough weight on the kick to reach him. And the Magpies are advancing again in the Leon Davis direction. McGuan with him, taller man. Edwards giving it off to Farmer. Tigers working it around Newman. Martin everywhere at the moment. Almost the glue of the team in his first season. He's an outstanding young player. Nason's been good for them too. Nahas just has to go defensively to Revolt, who again is up on the wing.
Yeah, second mark that Jack Revolt's taken on the wing. Second time he stops play and just waits for his players to move forward. That is a terrible kick.
It is a shocking kick, and it lands with Didak, and the handball wasn't much better either. So now perhaps they might be able to torch them on the turnover here. Polo in 2 minds, just goes high, up and under. It's going to be a tough one to mark. Big pack flies, post was there, couldn't take it. Nahas brought down, umpire says too high.
No, you've got him over the shoulder. Free kick, Robin, go back in the right.
Well, it's amazing. Kick to a contest, that's under pressure, and suck a free kick out of it.
Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Harry O'Brien has been playing on Nahas, and we can just see caught a little high there by Sharad Wellingham.
What do you make of that matchup, Harry O'Brien on Nahas?
Well, the beauty of Harry O'Brien, Kelly, is that he can play on anyone of any size, and bigs, mediums or smalls, and this fellow with a footy is certainly a small.
Just get the feeling for his confidence. He needs to nail this one. Still early days at the MCG, and the goal umpire moves a little to his left. Nahas has nudged that out to the right.
They've been handy for the Tigers' confidence too. Being belted at the moment, but just a goal in it. Still early days. Now Goldsack leans back and goes the torp, and it just about reached the centre circle. Tuvey off to Didak. Oh, it's a good move. Swan, it is wide open up forward. Lockyer had a range of options, decides on Brown, and he has a goal now.
Oh, that is music to my heart.
That's the way it used to be done when Captain Blood had his nightmares in black and white.
Black and white, yeah, I heard that, Tim. Did you talk to him about that personally?
I didn't.
No.
But I know he said it many times.
Excellent. Well, if you want to know something about football, Mr. Goal, kick the ball down the middle of the ruckman. He'll knock it on to the Rovers, and then everyone else in the forward line will peel off backwards. Dane Swan will run through the middle. It'll go to the blokes over the back, and it's a goal.
Simple. It doesn't get any simpler than that.
As easy as that. You make it sound so simple. It's the Pies by 12 points.
And I tell you what, I like the Darren Jolly flip over the back with that big torpedo.
Swan wins the free, kicks to the pack. Brown, bit of spring in his step already early. Ball hits the deck and it rolls over the chalk. This is Andrew Brown for the Tigers, playing his first game for the year. Now,
this is called a torpedo. Have a look at this. You can do this at fullback because you're not under pressure. If it goes off the side, they had people there. Isn't that amazing? That is a bit of 1967-73 football, Robert.
It is, and it just about landed in the centre circle. So long was the torque.
It's the other end of the ground and a different ground, but I would think it probably had a few metres on that effort of Malcolm Blight's at Princes Park many years ago.
You're kidding. It went off the TV screen. They're still looking for the footy, Tim.
Have a look at the way he's holding it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You just turn it with your hand. You just turn it a little bit, and that's how you do it.
I hope we see a few more today.
Collingwood continue to do all the attacking, and Richmond have early problems here.
Do you know what? That's a really set play. First point.
Yep.
So you do something different on first points. You can actually spend a whole week on kicking off, Rob.
Well, you can, and how effective was it? And everybody feels part of it when a strategy works like that.
Yep.
Now, loose ball, and McCaffer's got it off the outside of the boot, and the bounce is good. The Magpies have their third.
Been interesting, Rob. We watched Collingwood last week, and McCaffer came in. We thought maybe somebody else may have been picked, and that didn't happen. And he's kicked 3 goals last week and 2 goals this week.
Well, it's a great start, isn't it? And he certainly knows where the goals are, and he's got some tricks.
And Paul Medhurst was the guy that we all thought may have come back in last week, but McCaffer did kick 3, and here's a terrific snap. And he's got 2 already.
So this is Jolly and Graham in the ruck. Brown came steaming off his line, couldn't pick it up. Tuvey in there, working hard on the ground. Brown goes again. A little toe poke out of the pack. Didak, will it sit for him? He runs onto it, then just slaps it to the advantage of McCaffer. Already kicked 2. Easily sidesteps his opponent and then kicks to Lockyer. Spilt what he should have taken in the end. And now the Tigers in strife, under siege, trying to work it out of the defensive 50.
Almost reliant on Collingwood errors to stop the scoring at the moment. Oh, Swan did well, didn't give away a free kick. Ball handling error, though, by Collingwood. Relieves Richmond again. Morton down the back. Oh, stolen by Swan. There's a 4th for Collingwood. Pinching the Cousins hand pass. It is shaping at the moment as a mismatch.
Well, it is, Tim, and he is so strong, is Dane Swan. When he intercepted that mark, and we'll have a look at it here. That is, look, he doesn't lose his balance. It's a hard hit there, but he just lands on his feet and he's back on the footy. And he follows up here, and he's able to kick the 4th Magpie goal. You'll see the Cousins handball, and he just read it and barreled it through. He's like a steam train, Malcolm. You cannot stop him. We even heard Damien Hardwick pre-game say, well, we said, who's going to play on Dane Swan? He more or less laughed. He said, no one can control him for 4 quarters. It's got to be a team effort to beat him.
Yeah, he's become a really, really good player.
Untaggable is how Damien Hardwick described him earlier this week. When the question was put, who will run with him? 36 touches last week against the Saints. He started well. Edwards, the Tigers need the clearance here. King trying to find some space. It's a risky kick, but it sits up, and Connors takes the mark. Defensive side of the wing. Dan Collins finds Edwards. Play on, says the umpire. It was touched off the boot. And now Nahas is away. Takes on Pendlebury. Burst of pace. Kicks to the top of the goal square. And it's all Collingwood. The relieving mark by Reid. Gives it off to Wellingham. And then his kick. Well, the target was O'Brien. He was caught out of position. Spinning out of trouble was Edwards. And then Davis comes in and applies the tackle. And that's a free kick to Collingwood. And Leon Davis.
In the back,
fact, it was in the back. Yeah, so
actually,
it's an Edwards kick.
Actually, in all fairness, there's a few played like this last night, and I reckon they've got it right. Because you've had a chance, but you still can't get pushed in the back.
Yeah, the umpiring has really changed, and I think we'd agree, Malcolm, for the better. Here's Webberley for Richmond. They've been led to the ball, but this man hasn't been. Revolt, and this time he's within range, and they desperately need this.
Well, they do, Tim, and gee, I love watching him play, Jack Revolt. He has kicked 61 goals, 31 behind, so he's so accurate off the boot, and an unhealthy reliance on this man, because the next highest goal kicker is 13, young Nason.
So from 45 to kickstart the Tigers, a tentative kick, not close. Nason was there, was never going to mark that. O'Brien, a misunderstanding with Wellingham. Morton, Collingwood tight, plenty of them at the contest at all times, and Richmond just not finding a way through.
Ball back in play. This is Graham assuming front position. Tuck just hacks it out of the air. Now they'll run onto it. This is side bottom, the foot race. Kicks out of the danger zone. In front was Tuvey. Couldn't hold on to it. Too easy for Pendlebury. They got runners everywhere. Peeling out wide is Beams, and he takes Farmer on. Handball smothered. Comes back to Pendlebury. Almost toying with the opposition at the moment. Now to Tuvey. Back to ball. It's all too easy as he sends it inside 50. Dawes will run onto it and takes the mark.
Kelly, you mentioned Tuvey a couple of times there, out on the wing and then at half forward for the Magpies. You might say, why is Tuvey playing up forward? Well, he's playing virtually as a centre half forward, and his opponent is Delidio. Mick Malthouse has realised that Delidio is such an important player to Richmond as a rebounding defender that he's put his own half back, Tuvey, onto Delidio, and I think that's a really good move.
And it's also now for Hardwick to change that. Might as well put him in the forward line, Rob.
Yep.
So no Travis Cloak. He's out suspended. Be back next week. Suddenly Chris Dawes is the go-to man, and the Pies are on song at the MCG. They're in for the quick kill.
I mean, I know they're a young side, but I think that's right, isn't it? If your key playmaker across half-back is being sat upon, really, I just reckon you might as well put him on a wing or put him in a 50-50 position, put him up forward, put him back on the ball. Just see what Mick Malthouse does then.
And there's Presty on Jack Revolt, and Presty's had a pretty good season for the Magpies. He doesn't worry about getting possessions himself. He's the only Magpie who's not an accumulator of the ball, but he just does his job so very, very well.
Jack's taken 3 marks already, which is a pretty good start, but he hasn't been able to make a dent on the scoreboard. Free kick to Jolly, hand pass to Maxwell. Magpies pumping forward again. Blair was there to rove the pack, controlled it well. Got McCaffrey with that. Beams back to Blair. Outside 50. Very short, but long enough. Pendlebury within range.
And Brown, that's the free kick against the Richmond ruckman, because he has just deliberately put the knee into the midriff of Jolly.
That's Andrew Brown, just playing his second game. He played the opening game of last season when Richmond had a nightmarish start against Carlton. And he finally gets back in round 17 of the following year.
He's a big boy.
Now Pendlebury for a 6th for the Magpies. He got close to the man on the mark and he sprayed it out of bounds. Richmond's best hope right now might be that sometimes teams start so well they wrap up a game early and then lose their way, but it's not an optimistic outlook.
Malcolm, I reckon one of the great strengths that Mick Malthouse has got at the moment is that there's 5 players at least who aren't in the 22 today, who are desperate to get in, and the 22 who are playing know that.
Absolutely. Always works that, Rob.
Tigers working very hard trying to bring it out of the defensive 50. Now they can. Newman out wide. He's got a couple of runners here. It'll sit up for Morton, playing his first game back. for a few weeks out. Sends it inside 50. Caught behind was Polo. Had to fly. And now revolt. So too Collins. Oh, that's nasty. That is a free kick. Head-high contact by Tyson Goldsack on Andy Collins. So a free kick. He plays on. He opens up the angle. And finally, the Tigers have broken the drought.
Well, that's really good to see. Actually, they've get a little bit of confidence, get a bit of belief back in the team. But it was really against the odds. Pendlebury missing down the other end was quite a surprise. But they've managed to work the ball up the ground really well. And of course, a free kick with a high. I don't think anyone argue with that. And it was a really nice finish in the end. There's Damien Hardwick talking to Brett Delidio.
It'll be interesting to see when Delidio comes back on, Malcolm, as to what role he takes up, whether he goes back to the centre half back role and has Tuvey oppose him, or whether Hardwick says, OK, well, they've made a move, we'll counter it and maybe put him into the midfield or even up forward.
Oh, great takeaway by the Magpies, but again, Pendlebury's kick not producing a result. King over it for Richmond. Tuck getting it out into space though, and the first man there is Leon Davis. Now Swan, he's had 30 possessions and more in all of his last 6 games. Now solid Shepherd. It was a Collingwood free kick if they wanted it.
Yep.
They didn't want it. They went on, and the Tigers are able to hold them up. And Webberley now takes it wide. Morton needed sure hands there. He had them, and it's Richmond's ball.
Well, Lockyer really crunched him, and Tarkin Lockyer playing for his career and his spot in that Collingwood team, I would think. So every effort, every contest important to Lockyer.
Tigers well and truly gone into their shells here. This is Rance. They went backwards, now they go forwards through the captain in Newman. Short to Collins, the goal kicker. And now he sends it to half forward. Forced to wait was Polo. He did well. He's got no one to kick to. Now over the top. Running forward was King. Going back with the flight. Didn't take his eyes off it. And he'll go back and have a set shot from about 30 out, but a tough angle.
Well, the little man with the big heart has the footy. Played his 50th game for the Tigers last week. Respected within the club because of his work ethic. And bit by bit has got his skill level up. I'd still say he's a 50-50 chance to kick this one. Let's hope he can put it through.
Well, let's hope he does. Suspended the last 2 times that he's played this club, Collingwood, so he's got history, and he pushes that right across the face through for a behind. The Tigers 1-2-8, the Pies 5-1-31.
We want to see another torp, but I tell you what, Betty Johnson won't do a torp.
He did the shortest possible kick. Finds a little channel out of the back pocket and places that delightfully. Thomas. Collingwood, a team on top of its game at the moment. And speaking of such, Dane Swan breaking away, kicking to Davis. What a beautifully weighted ball. Newman's contact adjudged permissible. Rance in there to help his captain. There'll be a ball up.
They don't mind kicking the ball to the boundary line when they go forward, the Magpies. It's something that they are happy to do. And we're not going to knock it because they've been able to kick some really big scores this year.
Swan again, chalking them up, but they're not just easy possessions he gets. He gets in and wins contests, gets the ball and breaks things open for the Magpies.
They do go wide, Rob, but last week they did get against St Kilda, still beat them. Yep. But that kick down the middle, I reckon said something. That first big torp down the middle that got them a goal said something about the mentality of the team, that they can go down the middle if they want to.
Oh, look, I think they're one of the most adaptable teams in the comp. They know what to do at any given time and they can change their approach.
A couple of turnovers here, and it ends up with Cousins to Newman. Threads the handball to Edwards, who threads it again to Cousins. They link up by hand. This is Collins.
Downfield. Hit too late.
Free kick to Revolt. A little bit of push and shove off the ball.
So I'd like to see him kick this. King's missed one. Revolt missed one earlier. You just can't keep missing against the top team.
Well, he's generally an accurate kick. As we said before the game, he had kicked 61 goals, 31 behind, so his strike rate has been good.
This for goal number 62 of the season, and he's got it. And it is back-to-back goals for the Tigers after the Pies kicked the first 5.
Well, there's some creative people in the Richmond cheer squad, and that banner we just saw, Jack the Ripper. Did you like that?
Jack you Ripper, I think it was. Jack you Ripper. He is that, on the kindest possible interpretation, at least.
Just got there, just floating back. He's pretty happy about that. He's got a bit of bubble about him too.
He's been good in this opening quarter in a team that really has struggled. Breakaway to Collingwood, playing advantage. Ball's kicked though not great. Rance leads Lee Brown to it and finds Morton in front of Swan. So the Tigers just starting to get competitive. Bad fumble by Rance. And Lockyer at least sees it into a 50-50.
I was just about to say with young Rance, his first 2 kicks, wow, his first 2 kicks have been perfect. They've been great kicks under pressure. And then you go and I'm glad I didn't say it now because when he dropped the pud.
Graham to Martin, wrapped up. And it's a free kick to Martin. It was a high tackle against Jolly. Now they're away, the Tigers. Nahas fakes one way, goes the other. Deledio getting involved. Now the kick comes out wide. Makes Farmer really work for it. He's going to take Brown on. Kicks to the pocket. There is Revolt. It cleared both Revolt and Prestigiacomo. Coming in and helping out was Reid, and Prestigiacomo gets rid of it just in time. Kicks to the wing from behind McCaffer. Gee, this is a player with his confidence up. Pokes it over the top to Didak. He can have a bounce. Oh, a rare fumble by Didak. He's got the skills. Regathers and then takes on McGuan. Gives it off to side bottom. They've got loose numbers everywhere. This is Jared Blair, and Blair's just going to pop it into the goal square. No one home except Leon Davis. Turns around and goals.
Yeah, in basketball, they call that coast to coast almost. Jack Revolt outnumbered, not a good kick into him. And then there's lovely mark from McCaffer. And from that moment on, as soon as Didak got behind, it was only who was going to kick the goal.
And good forward setup. Have a look at the beams, Shepherd. Have a look at that. He just does enough to keep Edwards out of the contest so he doesn't get near Davis. Subtly done. No free kick given. Well played, Beams.
Gee, they've been constructing their goals beautifully, the Magpies, and here they go again. That was disposal number 11 for Swan. Not an effective one, but he's about to have number 12 and give to Ball. And he puts it on the chest of Didak. Little ball for Lockyer. Just couldn't collect. And Connors comes away with the spilling ball. And what a shocking kick. Indecision. He just didn't know whether he was going short or long. He couldn't see the long target. He changed his mind. And he put it straight over the line. So it's Luke Ball with the footy. And Collingwood will keep pressing. And Richmond having a devil of a time in this opening quarter. Dawes is the target of this, plenty up against him, and King comes away with it for the Tigers.
Once again, Nason is away on the outer side.
No one there. Takes
on Wellingham. He's got absolutely no one to kick to, and it's a foot race now. And the first 2 or 3 players leading are all Magpies players. Reid, Thomas, short to O'Brien.
Rob, I know the forwards all want to cover help their defence, but one back would have been good.
I think you've got to keep a forward inside, pretty much inside your forward 50, because 3 or 4 times in this quarter we've seen Richmond get possession on the wing and the player with the ball has looked up, absolutely no one to go to. So they're losing their forward structure, and I'm sure that's something that Damien Hardwick will talk to them about at quarter time. But ripper start by the Magpies.
Is there any more? Do you want any more information? Grand finals, they're called. Yes, it can work in a grand final even.
So it's Collingwood in total control. Quarter time here, and it's the Pies by 23 points. Trying to win it out of the centre. Ball doing the hard work. Thomas overran it. Deledio, this is just his 4th touch. Over to Nahas. Tumbling ball inside 50. Revolt too strong in the air.
He's got a nice leap. He just seems to leap a little bit early, hang there, and he would be very hard to spoil against. And he's up against Prestigiacomo, one of the best. And this is a good kick by Nahas. But have a look at Jack Revolt. Jumping Jack just gets up, arms at full stretch, covers the footy.
To peg the margin back to 17, he steps over 50 and he sets sail, but it's offline. And an early costly miss for Revolt.
And again,
it's his first point. Let's have a look here. The first point. Who's got it? No, Johnson.
Johnny.
This will just be ordinary play, Rob.
Yeah, we want to see Goldsack with the footy. We want to see another one of those torpedoes.
Oh, and O'Brien just hung on to it. Collingwood get away, but he's banged it out on the full. So it's Richmond's ball again. Revolt doing exceptionally well. He's taken 4 marks against Prestigiacomo. He's kicked 1-1, and really he could have 3 goals. That he's missed twice from well within range. He kicked the hardest of the 3 goes. Tigers dangerous. Edwards over the top. Collingwood defenders coming from everywhere. Johnson tied up by Nahas. So Richmond starting with a bit of promise here at the beginning of the second term.
Saw him kick 12 straight in the warm-up too, Tim. 12 straight.
It's a bit like the practice fairway. I'm pretty good out there, Howie.
Exactly right.
So ball in dispute. In the pocket here for the Tigers. A free. It's a push in the back. It's a Collingwood ball.
Clear advantage.
Coming back to Reid. His younger brother Sam was named in the Sydney squad to play here at the MCG tomorrow, named as an emergency. Bodies on the line in that contest. Beams has got a runner out wide, gives it off to Wellingham. He's forced to wait and he can't get around Newman. Wraps him up in the tackle. Umpire says play on. Didak's there, offers some support, and the Pies still do it with ease. Wellingham, and here they go. They send it forward, and all by himself is McCaffer again.
Another example, Kelly, of Collingwood players running back with the flight, open space behind them. Admittedly, you've got to be a good kick to be able to do it, and Beam's kick is a real scorcher. That's a 55-metre pass.
But Rob, the ball's been down the Richmond end. Collingwood still had structure.
Yeah, they did. They had forwards in place.
Damien Hardwick's got to learn something from this as a young coach, I reckon. I mean, it's all right to stop him for a while. You can't do it as a game plan.
Mentioned earlier, a career high 3 goals last week against the Saints. Here he is at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter, lining up for his 3rd. He loves the goal and he extends the lead for the Magpies.
Well, McCaffer and Lee Brown up forward are increasingly making it harder for players like Josh Fraser and Jack Anthony to come into this team. Well, there's Dane Beams, and this is the kick that set up the McCaffer goal. It is an absolute beauty. Hard, low, and hits the target, and McGuan just can't get back there in time. 3rd goal to McCaffer. Goals to McCaffer, and Lee Brown being amongst the goals last week and this week means it's going to be pretty hard for some regulars like Josh Fraser and Jack Anthony to break back into this team.
Swan forced sideways here to the 200 gamer, who sold the bit of candy beautifully and goes for Didak. A couple against him. Rance the clean spoil. McGuan turned into trouble. So a throw in. Damien Hardwick could be frustrated at the way Collingwood got that first goal, because it was exactly what he was concentrating on, according to Mark Howard, at quarter time. And again, a Collingwood player got out the back. Here's Thomas. McGuan there to receive it. Richmond will be becoming increasingly careful as they bring it out, which can be a bad thing because they can lose their spontaneity. Morton, who's spending quite a bit of time down the back, to Tuck.
And you can see there's no Richmond player anywhere near their forward 50. They've got possession of the ball, but this plays into the Magpies' hands.
Plays into it. Oh.
Because even if they get the ball, a fast break to the wing, they have to stop, because back of screen, top of screen, you can see that they've got no forward structure whatsoever.
McGuan, a lot of loft on that. Well played by Beams against Big Graham. Wellingham didn't go anywhere much, but it went to Magpie territory. Swan, Jolly, Beams, Didak. Well done, Deledio, to hold things up. Now Asprey, hemmed in, sees daylight, goes for Webley, and it'll be relayed to the Tiger man.
So this is Webley, Tasmanian. Just absolutely no movement forward. Every Tigers player is stagnant. So he's forced to go long up the line. From behind, Revolt flew, and it'll be a free kick to the Pies.
Immediately, Dustin. Ben Reid. Thank you. Come out with Presty.
Was caught holding in that contest. Reid to Brown, the lead. Wheels around. This is ominous again. Goes to the top of the goal square. With the sit was Davis, too small in the pack. Hits the deck. There's a scramble. Swan, too easy. 2v. Davis, goal. Share it around as easy as you like.
Well, that was the free kick. I was actually looking at Revolt coming then. I didn't actually see that was for. But anyhow, here's the contest in the goal square. And well described, Kelly. Just shared it around enough to end up with Leon Davis. It was a sort of a half a share, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know,
It was a share without intention.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
They're having a smile. Tuvi, who's playing that defensive role up forward on Delidio, he would have been chuffed to have got a goal into the bargain as well.
Right.
But just didn't get enough on the boot. But that'll be the easiest goal Leon Davis kicks this year.
Push out, your knee was up.
Another Collingwood free kick in the ruck. Brown, yep.
Tim, Delidio, why didn't he just go and play on Swan and take him on and try and do something the other way? I mean, this is going to be a cakewalk if they don't do something.
It's looking awful for Richmond. Johnson, that's a beautifully weighted kick. It was almost McCaffer lining up again. Well played, Farmer. He's brave, but he backed into trouble. So a ball up.
Thanks, Mitch.
There's Brown again.
Geez, you can get the knees up. The first one he got Jolly in the chest. That one he got him on the chin.
Actually, I reckon they made a song about that fella. Knees up, Mother Brown.
That's right, Malcolm.
Sing it to us, Malcolm.
Hey, we're showing our age.
Actually, we won't get you to sing that one because we want you to sing the new Gold Coast song at halftime. Here go the Tigers, and Post has to retreat to Nason, back towards Post, but Tuvia hand in there. Reid for Collingwood. They are doing this with absolute aplomb. Didak had so much time to consider and reconsider if necessary. Now Goldsack.
Short to Jolly. They are running in waves. Swan back to Jolly. Happy to share it around. It's a high ball. Big pack. Dawes with the sit. Can't bring it down. Instead it was Asprey. And that's good hands by the young Tiger. Now he's confused.
And again, you can see from that shot there, they just haven't got anyone in their front half of the ground, the Tigers. So if they get it up on the wing, they might have to stop again.
Polo took an absolute eternity to pick that up. He did in time. Now this is Revolt and Prestigiacomo. Should be interesting. Presti slaps it to the teammate in Pendlebury. Goldsack's there. Some good shepherding. Allows Blair to swoop and give it off to McCaffer. And here they go again. Back to Blair. Newman nearly tackled him. Lockyer gets the kick away. Inside 50. Jolly from behind. Too big, too tall.
And Cal, what about the body work? He just used the body work to perfection. The big man on the smaller man. Just a bit of a jolt before the ball came down. But again, it's a lovely long kick to set up a forward. Lockyer's the man who squares it up. I hope we can see this little bit of body work. Not quite, but much smaller opponent. There it is. Oh, that's a perfect shot. Just a perfect shot. The initial hit meant that Farmer had no way that he could regain his feet and get a spoil.
Jolly looking to join the goal fest. He does it with ease. It was elementary from there, and the Pies have got their ninth.
He'd have to be feeling pretty relaxed. He is watching his team playing some pretty outstanding football.
Here we go, just around the boundary line. Rob, I just want to make a comment here that I reckon young teams, when they flood back like this and there's too many of them, there's too many players around to find space. I reckon if you keep more of a structure, young players see it better, they can see space. Finding black and gold jumpers in a whole lot of players is hard.
Martin gives Richmond first crack, but it's coming back quickly. Gold sack for Lee Brown. Camp there, Newman arriving. Brown didn't flinch. Big strong body. Held his position, took it well.
Lee Brown doing the ruck work now, Tim. Jolly having a spell, and that's the beauty of Lee Brown. He can be a key forward and then take his 20% of the game time in the ruck to relieve Jolly.
Thomas, plenty of Tigers up in that aerial contest. Still it could blow up. Blair, standing start, misses. And conversely to Rob's comment a moment ago, Darren Jolly can go forward. He's kicked 15 goals now for the year, and these two have become a very workmanlike tandem for Collingwood.
See, one of the problems, when there's a lot of players around, it's just hard to... He's got one, just got one. But it is hard for young teams, I reckon, to see it. It's easy to see some space and kick it in front, just like this. This is space.
And this
you can
is
see
space.
the player.
King to over to Connors, and one-on-one there is O'Brien and also Polo. O'Brien keeps his eyes on the footy, keeps his head over the footy as well, and it's a free off the ball. And it's going to come back. It'll be a free kick to Goldsack against Polo.
And I'd have to say, young Robin Nahas then, as you see, he came through and went to ground under pressure. And that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been in the team after a really good first-up year last year, Rob. It's one of the problems. When you're small, you've got to keep your feet.
You do.
He just went to ground too easy.
Pies setting up another thrust forward. There's just no pressure being applied by the Tigers. O'Brien. Long doors from behind. In front was Graham. Couldn't hold on to it. Thomas might have been held. Bit of a scrap again. Ball emerges in the hands of some Magpies. Blair gives it over to Beams. Underneath. Cousins, now Morton, over to Webberley. It's stolen again. They pick his pocket. Beams. Thomas kicks to a 2-on-1. In front, though, was Asprey, and he marks in front of Dawes.
Goes back to Rance as the Tigers try and find a way forward, but Collingwood's back half having a picnic. They're having a very easy day so far. Polo will try and set them busy, but he's under the pump.
Good effort by Brown.
It was, and again Collingwood with numbers. Swan with disposal number 17. And away goes Lockyer. Time to have a bounce and kick to McCaffer, who's the secret weapon up forward today. He dishes to Didak, who can have a shot, and with his kicking skills, you'd be opening your wallet. Good pressure from Brown. Swan there to seize the opportunity.
Well, Alan Didak's kicked 26 goals, 14 behind, so he's been pretty accurate. And this will suit his left boot.
Collingwood's leading goal scorer for the season. They really share them around like no other team from 50. He does it all well. He's done that beautifully. It's a romp for the Magpies.
He's a wonderfully skilled player. Having a very good year, as you've mentioned, with the number of goals, but his midfield stuff has got better each year. And that is a lovely wind-up of a kick, and a genuinely ran out a bit wide like most left footers and just nailed it.
Well, Malcolm, you said it. Have a look at him. He winds up and he gets some real pace up and he goes bang. He just knew it was about his limit and he had to get that bit of momentum up, and he wound himself up, ran out to the left and did what he needed to do.
King trying to manufacture something here for the Tigers. They're making hard work of it. Farmer marks in the middle. Just defensive side of the bullseye. Gives it off to Morton, who just says, let's go long. And it's a bomb inside 50. Polo there. Couldn't take the mark. And again, the Pies are away. Johnson teaming up with ball back to Johnson, and now Swan. He's had plenty of it. Has an uncanny ability to find the ball, Dane Swan. And it's disposal number 18 already.
Yeah, you know, he meant to put that out of bounds. He angled it on his boot. Richmond players were looking at the umpire saying he meant that, but I think he did it in such a good way that you couldn't penalise him.
Collingwood by 47 points. They showed last week they can match and beat a good team. Well, today they're showing they can absolutely destroy a lesser one. Webberley to Edwards. He drew the tackle high, and he'll take it for Richmond. But this is less than half the battle. They've got to find a way through. Delidio, Connors placing that for Revolt's lead. Presti riding him, wearing him, and beating him that time. And again, Collingwood's numbers prevailing, and Goldsack comes away, slipped out of them as though he was covered in oil. Didak waiting, giving to side bottom out wide as Collingwood prepare to build up again. And they've built them up pretty quickly. There's been no messing around. Blair, uncharacteristic miss. Pendlebury off the non-preferred, didn't get that right. Farmer's able to chop it off.
Plays on quickly. Webberley out wide. Polo.
There's no one there.
There is absolutely no one to kick to. Will he go sideways or will he go backwards?
Rob,
I know it's frustrating you, Malcolm.
can I just say, I mean, they've kicked 4 goals to nil by doing it. Hello. I can count.
Morton, King.
Are you going to cop some wax? You know that. Richmond are going to cop some buildings.
Asprey, Brown chops it off. Does he keep it in? No.
You need to give yourself a chance to kick goals.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing. We are, what are we, 17 minutes into the second quarter. Richmond's kicked just the 2 goals, and that's what would be disappointing to their supporters. I think they know that, you know, Collingwood's a better side, but it'd be nice if we could kick a dozen goals for the game.
Yeah.
Working in close confines. Davis through traffic. Side bottom, a fumble. Davis again. Side bottom. Thomas. Short to Didak. You heard the umpire. Play on. They've got numbers everywhere. This comes back to Reid, and it's a pinpoint kick. Lands in the chest of the skipper. Still a couple of goals out from home. He's just going to go long, and has it got the distance? Not quite. It's off hands.
I'll tell you what. It's fantastic to have Darren Jolly down there in the goal square as you get out kick. Just knowing that you can bomb it long to the big fella and he will give you an honest contest. If he doesn't mark it, he'll bring it to ground. And that is another plus for the Magpies with Jolly being in their side.
Graham first hand on the ball. Davis possession. Side bottom brought down, and there'll be a ball up.
Wolsey, you're talking about Darren Jolly. He's ghosted into the forward line 3 or 4 times, and a couple of times the Richmond defenders, they're not sure who's picking him up, so 3 or 4 times he's been on his own down there. Yeah,
look, he's a really smart player. When he played with the Sydney Swans, he averaged about a goal a game, and that's a really good return for a ruckman.
He was smart there too as he knocked it clear, but Titch Edwards perhaps a little smarter, knocking it out of bounds. Magpie fans wanting a free kick, they don't get it. So it's Collingwood by 47. If Richmond were getting the equivalent of a 0-0 draw, their tactics might be justified, but they're getting hammered. It's nearly 8 goals, and we're quite away from half-time.
Someone just reminded me, this is like the World Cup, is it? Germany 4, Australia 0. Tim?
It is a little like that, I guess, Malcolm.
Thank you.
On
behalf of all of us that thought of it.
On the blind converter.
Too easy.
Pendlebury kicks this one. The Magpies are just taking it in turns.
Yeah, well. Mentioned last week, Rob, that Pendlebury was missing in those finals last year. Was it with injury from memory? And he's a really clever, smart, holds the ball, uses the ball well. And he missed a goal earlier, but on his preferred left side there, it was a nice snap under pressure.
Malcolm, I've got to ask you, what do you think of this trend? Increasingly, we're seeing senior coaches down there at ground level in the interchange dugout, and I reckon about half the coaches are doing it now. What are your thoughts?
I think there's two sides to it. First of all, there's someone looking at the game from above. So, but the other thing is, Rob, you've lost the art to defend because of all the rotations. And I've said this for a while now. Coaching has changed so much so you know more about your players, little less about the opposition. So it doesn't matter anymore where you sit, is what I probably think.
Here go the Pies again. It's out to 53 points. O'Brien just stabs it. A little bit too cute to Pendlebury. Wins his own footy again. Pendlebury takes on 3. Now ball. They might have coughed it up here. A chance for the Tigers. Martin brought down in a tackle. And that is holding the ball. So a free kick to the Pies.
It's interesting, Malcolm. I reckon with all of the extended coaching staffs, I reckon the senior coach, really, he's perhaps having less direct input with his players than ever before. This is a way of the senior coach having contact with his players, that he can be there at ground level, talk to them when they come on and off the ground. With all the rotations that we have now, he's got a chance to talk to just about every player every quarter.
Cousins gives it out wide to Morton, who says, I'm just going to bomb it from outside 50, but it was offline through for a behind. The Pies don't muck around, bringing it back into play. It's the pop-up Pies striking again. 8 individual goal kickers already, and we've got 5 minutes left in this second quarter.
Tigers yet a chance here. Tuck receiving from Connors and Nason.
Fair enough.
Almost spoiled by Nahas, but physically perhaps there's a little more of Nason.
It is. I mean, I'm back in a club now too, with it, and to see the line coaches actually do a fair bit of work, and there's a lot of other people that help. I still think the art of coaching, as in taking over from the opposition, is harder and harder because of the rotations.
Yeah, it's hard to know where players are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nason trying to draw it back from the right. Cousins kicks a goal. The Tigers' first of the term.
Well, Ben Cousins, he was really good last week. I know they got beaten, the Tigers, by North Melbourne, but I thought he played really well. It was a wet day. It rained from go to woe, and he just was able to adapt to the conditions better than anybody else out there. And look, he's playing for his future. I'd be surprised if he continued on next year with Richmond, but he's giving himself a chance. He just crumbs this really well. Front and square, he would have set up in that position thousands of times over his career. Just knows that that's probably the best chance to get a crumb and kick a goal.
Push out, your kick.
And it was a push call against Jolly. So Andrew Brown takes it off to Martin. Here go the Tigers searching for back-to-back from behind. The big fly was post. Wellingham dodging one way then the other. Off to Johnson. Pinpoint pass. Finds ball. There they go, bringing it back out along the boundary, although this time Didak centering kick wasn't great. Clears a couple of players. Swooping is Farmer. Off to Martin. And now the Tigers forced to go wider still. This is Newman. The trend continues. The Pies kicked the first 5 in the first quarter before the Tigers got one, and it's happened in the second as well. Cousins the last goal kicker, as Reid outmarks Nason.
In all your days as a coach, Malcolm, did you ever coach at ground level?
No, not very often, Rob. Not when I needed to. I just had a better look at the game, I reckon, from above.
No doubt about that. You see the moves far better from up top.
You watched a part of the last quarter of the game from the boundary line once as you did the perimeter at Football Park, Malcolm. It's well remembered. That was a Richmond game, wasn't it?
Pardon, Tim?
Actually, when he did that, he wasn't even watching the game, Tim.
I reckon I knew what the result was going to be. So he was Dane Swan. What a player.
Disposal number 20 about to be executed from a difficult spot. And he misses. But again, he's having an extraordinary influence, and he could be on his way to more Brownlow votes. In fact, at this rate, you'd say he certainly is. 20 disposals well before half-time.
Tim, I reckon you were at the game. I remember the game about 3 years ago here. Brett Delidio kicked 5 goals and beat Collingwood. I reckon it was about 3 years ago. From memory.
Very late in the season.
Yeah.
Might have been round 22.
Yeah. And I just, seeing him not doing very much, again, sorry to harp on a point, but 7 touches, he's better than that. Got to be used, though.
Here is Deledio on cue. Handballs to a teammate who's brought down in Newman. They just look stripped of all confidence, the Tigers. Won 4 in a row, lost last week here in the wet to North, and all of a sudden they've taken a few steps backwards. Deledio. There are magpie Guernseys everywhere, and he wins a free.
Alan Dylat's eyes had 3 points in his eyes as he took that football. Then he had no one between him and the goals. It was a 6-pointer for certain.
This is Rance. Short and wide. McGuan. So Damien Hardwick moved him forward last week, Rob, and he kicked a goal.
Yeah, he did, and I was pleased to see that. Now there's a real wobbler going forward. And let's see if they can set up Jack Riewoldt here. Maxwell's been working hard to get back to cover Riewoldt to help Presty.
Tuck goes in the Riewoldt direction. He'd have to beat a few instead. Graham over the top. And Graham is paid the mark. The ruckman for the Tigers. And the Army doesn't like the call.
Well, he paid the mark, no free kick, and the Collingwood supporters not happy.
They lead by 47. They're still not happy.
Would you have paid that, Malcolm?
Oh, I would have liked to have got paid it. I don't think it was a mark, to be honest.
So Angus Graham, just the 2 goals, 2 so far this season. From directly in front, he makes no mistake, and the Tigers have got back-to-back goals.
Well, Kelly, as you've said, 5 for the Pies, 2 for the Tigers. We have a mirror of the first quarter. What is your decision? Let's have a look at this again. He grabs the first one, almost grabs the second, and he's paid the mark. I would say in any game of football I've ever seen, that is not a mark.
Lucky boy. But he's been good for them, Angus Graham. I've watched him over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and he's done the bulk of the ruck work for the Tigers. He's been very competitive.
Good win at the clearance by the Tigers, and when they have won, Martin has usually been involved. Ball, Didak, Johnson, slipping Deledio's tackle, back to Didak. Time for a bit more scoring yet. Delivery to McCaffer, and that'll be a free kick for a chop of the arm by Polo. McCaffer with 3 first-half goals has been the wild card for the Magpies, but they have wild cards everywhere. They lead by 41 points. Been a demoralising hour of football for Richmond. High ball. Asprey getting it off to Edwards. Tuvey saw it coming, laid the ball stripping tackle, and Jolly couldn't quite hang on. Connors, good effort, Lockyer to hold him up. Covered by McGuan. Support from Webberley, and Richmond managed to wriggle off the hook. Well played by Collins. He did that very well. Cousins gives it back to him, but the kick was well smothered by the indefatigable Maxwell. Blair, clever ball. The overhead knock on. Siren puts an end to some first half agony for Richmond. Collingwood looking absolutely cherry ripe, leading by 41 points.
Yes, and we're seeing Collingwood play as they usually do, bringing each other into the game, sharing the goals. McCaffer's kicked 3 goals in that first half. Leon Davis has kicked a couple, and then you've got a lot of individual goal kickers. Benny Cousins working hard. He kicked a goal for the Tigers in that second quarter, but the strength and the experience of Collingwood, too much for the Tigers at this stage.
situations, you've got to be getting some votes with that kind of accumulation power. Here we go, second half. Here's Kelly Underwood to pick it up.
And it's the Pies by 41. And they win the centre clearance here. Wellingham, although he was tackled at the last moment, affected the kit. Thomas takes the mark. Inside 50, Lockyer is there. So too is Brown. It'll pop up for Brown here. Coming in was Newman. And now there's a bit of a tussle and a scrum, and they pile in from all angles and will have a bounce.
And Angus Graham, the big fella left of picture, coming in with Jolly. The worry for the Richmond ruckman is that Graham and Brown have just had 3 disposals between the two of them. Jolly's had 9 in the first half.
Pendlebury to Thomas. Thomas was collared when he got rid of it. The umpire didn't see it. Goldsack slides in. And another bounce. 8 individual goal kickers for Collingwood in the first half. The record is 16. I'll be keen to kick a few more in this second half. Jolly. Ball. The two recruits sidesteps with ease and then goes for home. This would be a real highlight for Luke Ball, but he hangs it out to the right.
Did you coach Luke Ball, Malcolm, at St Kilda?
No.
He just came after you.
Yeah.
He's been very good for them this year.
Yeah, yes, he's replaced probably Shane O'Brien. It's just missed out, hasn't he, at the moment because of it.
Well, players like O'Brien and Josh Fraser, they can't get into this team.
Deledio, the long ball. Again, Collingwood just prevailing in those contests. And here's the aforementioned Ball, taking it further back. Goldsack, last man standing back there. Not a good placement. Uncontested for Mitch Morton. Now he waits a long time and gets himself into a bit of strife. Gives to Polo. Both players making their returns today for the Tigers. It was well done by Post to give it to Graham and on to King. Centering ball, but Prestigiacomo has the better of Revolt here.
She just put him under the ball, didn't he, with an early nudge, Presti.
Pendlebury, O'Brien, and the Magpies on the rebound. And so often...
That's over the mark. That's over the mark.
It is. You've got him, Rob. Well done.
Well, about 3 weeks ago, they went berserk with the 50 metres for going over the mark. They've eased up in the last 3 weeks. Last night, I saw half a dozen that would have been pinged 3 weeks ago. That was over the mark by 4 or 5 steps. And I'm glad they pulled it up, because we've got to have some consistency from the men in red.
So it's Lee Brown who missed an absolute sitter in the first quarter and then atoned by kicking one, and from just inside 40 metres he kicks his second, and Collingwood just go further ahead.
Yeah, he's certainly been a handy player. I think you're right with that ruck work too, Rob. When you talk about the Richmond guys, I mean, they're only young, we know that, and they're skinny and they're going to grow, but this guy's been a real acquisition in what he can do for the team. Yep. And it's not 3 vote stuff, but it's what he does with the balance in the team. Hard to see watching him play now that he's at his 3rd club, isn't it? He's had his contributions at both. But just sometimes your face just fits and your timing just fits, doesn't it?
When he started at the Dockers, and that's 10 years ago, he was with Pavlich and Hazelby. And I remember I wrote a column where I said the 3 of them all were carrying too much pud. That was Pavlich, Hazelby and Lee Brown. And call it puppy fat, I suppose. But he's certainly got himself in the best shape, best physical shape of his career.
He would love you for that, Rob, wouldn't he?
Oh, he made me, obviously I made myself popular again.
He debuted for Fremantle back in round 1 2000. It was the same day that Davis, Fraser and Ben Johnson debuted for the Pies. So, of course, Johnson's playing his 200th this afternoon. Leon Davis plays his 200th next week at this ground against Carlton. And Josh Fraser is stranded on 199 in the VFL as Didak gives it off to side bottom, gets it back, Didak, and the Collingwood avalanche continues.
Sorry, Kelly, but it's just, it was going to be a goal, wasn't it? From the moment he gave it and got it back, it was just Ah, yeah. And look at him run here across the front of the pack. Talk about front the centre on at pace. And then this just settled. Have a quick look. And it's probably as good as anyone in the competition at that piece of play and finishing.
Well, the gap between top and bottom of the ladder is being revealed ruthlessly here.
Yep.
Lead out to 54, and Collingwood really could win this by as much as they want. Jolly, the tap, tuck, had it for a little while. Collingwood's ball again. Tuvey just bumping it forward, and Rance covers for the Tigers. Deledio, McGuan, he just loafed a little bit. Got himself out of it. Rance to Deledio. And now Connors, rather Asprey it is. And he steers it wide for Collins. Martin running inside. Had some moments, Martin, but has generally been well contained. Connors now. And that's a good kick. Good ball. King, the aerialist, taking it overhead. Pumping it into the 50. Not to Revolt this time. And Reid much too good for post in that exchange, gives to Thomas.
Thomas kicks to the wing. Lockyer brought down, dispossessed. Now Newman scooping it out of the pack. Here's Brown again, just trying to barge his way through, and he's brought down in a tackle applied by Asprey. Martin. Now Tuck over to Cousins. Messy footy. High ball really up and under. Oh, bodies on the line. It was two teammates inside Bottom and O'Brien, both quick to their feet.
Kelly, you mentioned messy footy. I'm going to get a stat taken out of footy, Rob. I want to know handballs received, standing still or on the move. Let's call for a new stat.
You're not happy with those who handball to players who aren't on the move, are you?
Just handball to a bloke, as we watch this unfold here, and he's in the more trouble than you are. Yeah, like here, you have the kitchen. It's pretty hot in here.
Just relay the pressure.
Do you reckon that'll catch on?
I don't think so.
Why not? Why can't we start a crusade? Do something.
Well,
do something. That's a good one.
Ball gives it over to Pendlebury, who gives it to Johnson, who has a bit of a run. A bounce forward. And then long to half forward. It's a free kick. It's going to the Tigers. It was against Dawes.
And Dawes having a pretty ordinary game. The Magpies winning well, but Chris Dawes struggling to get into it. Just the 5 disposals.
He was pretty quiet last week against the Saints as well.
I reckon he's important to them, Kelly, because he can take contested marks, and I'm confident that they will persevere with him.
Oh, McGuan's kick hung, but Rance able to hang on against Didak's spoiling attempt. Newman. Cousins trying to set things in motion. McGuan always seems to be running into trouble. Nason gave it back to him. Cousins kept coming for the receive. That was a handball receive on the move, is it, Malcolm?
Yes, it's it.
Revolt out at the 50, and that's well done. He could have got ambitious and gone for the glory. He went for Collins, who at least is within range, but he's on a tight angle, as you can see.
And just following that up, and I really should say that what they're trying to do is play like Geelong, but I mean, you know, they're 5-6 years away from doing that as a group. But if you're on the move, you've got some chance, that's all. And players that handball to people slack-footed, not very good at all.
Good passage of play there by Ben Cousins, Malcolm. He was involved in a couple of handball exchanges at half-back and then got the long kick into the forward 50.
He knows where to run, doesn't he? Collins kicks and misses by a lot.
And if he gets the biomechanical expert onto that, he will see how he walked in, waltzed in and sat back on the kick. It was just a little poke rather than a kick.
Goldsack on kick-in duties finds Johnson, just pokes it over the top. They creep closer to goal, although the umpire off the ball has picked out a free. It's coming back to Richmond, and it'll go to Collins. It's against Johnson. Eyes darting. He might back himself in from here.
Well, let's see if he leans back this time, Malcolm. Probably knowing he has to kick it further, he'll kick through the footy and have a bit more speed in his run-up.
From the boundary.
No. We're going to get that biomechanics expert in.
Absolutely sprayed.
Can I tell you something? Biomechanical experts have got to change something a kid's been doing for 10 years.
Yes.
Good luck.
Not easy.
Absolute good luck.
Haven't got a lot of faith in them, Malcolm?
No, what I'm saying is that they can teach you how to do it better with your style, not what the textbook says or the little button on your ear says.
Almost a good grab by Asprey there. I'll throw in. Collins kicked the winning goal against the Swans here a few Sundays ago. He couldn't miss in the last quarter of that game. Had his finest moment, but he's just lost it. He's got the yips right now. Brown doing the rucking again for Collingwood. Here's Beams, side bottom, under pressure, but got out of it well. Maxwell, Johnson, Brown. Just too much handball there from the Magpies as they were looking for the right setup. Martin brought down. Umpire letting it go on. Beams to Johnson. Finally a kick. Oh, Swan with muscle to Davis. Here we go. It's coming back for Leon.
Yeah, it's a free kick because Swan was held.
Well, why whistle it up? Oh, well, they're going to bring them forward.
Swan was held. He got that early knock-in on his opponent, and he was then held as the Magpies took the ball forward. This is an interesting one.
Is that a 50-metre penalty from where the
50.
Not from where the free happened, from where the ball was?
Yeah.
Harrier, Davis rather there to receive and thump it. Not quite long enough.
Hit the stick, Tim.
So with all the refinements in these rules, it becomes almost impossible to kind of know exactly what the umpires are doing at moments such as that. Anyway, what we do know is Collingwood have scored another behind.
Deledio hard to miss in the fluoro boots. Newman flew from behind. In fact, it was post. Now the Tigers bringing it through the corridor. Just need to win possession. Nahas blinded, and he didn't see little Blair coming, and as a result it's the turnover and Johnson hits Lockyer.
Gee, that was a good tackle, and then the Johnson kick. He could have blazed away, but he just set up his mate. And you're right, Kelly, he was blindsided, and there's the Johnson kick.
Tarkan Lockyer, the veteran, just the 9 games this season, spent some time in the VFL, had to really work hard to get his spot back in this 22. Spot's hard to come by in this all-conquering Collingwood side, and that won't help his cause. At the moment in the VFL, Rob, they've got Fraser, Medhurst, O'Brien, Jack Anthony, Brad Dick coming back from injury. Rusling played his first game back last week. And you've got Cloak and Shaw to come back as well from injury and suspension.
It's a great position to be in, and it just means that every Collingwood player here, even though they're well in front, they'll keep their foot
Here's
flat to the ball.
Leon from behind. He's playing with a bit more confidence and spark today. Cousins for Richmond. Better pressure from Richmond's defence, but Collingwood able to absorb it, work it around, and eventually they'll set it up, and Swan dabs it wide. And the big man, Dawes, can go back and have a look at them. He's certainly a physical presence up forward.
Little jump, Leon. He had eyes lit up then, just didn't quite get the ride.
And Chris Dawes, you can see he's taken the glove off. He's going to give himself a chance to have a shot at this, and why not? He's kicked 20 goals, 9 behinds. Well, he's actually kicked one today, so 21 goals, 9. He's been quite accurate.
He's got that air of menace of Quinton Lynch. Takes the glove off like him. Doesn't kick quite as long, and that misses. It's the Magpies by 56 points, having a slightly less productive quarter after kicking a couple of early goals.
Just the 2 goals to none so far in this third term. Tigers looking for an avenue out of the defensive 50. Connors spinning the ball in his hands onto his trusty left and hits up Deledio. Corralling him was Thomas, so he gives it over the top to Tuck. Along the boundary, cleared post, and Beams picks up. Such a good contributor, Dane Beams. Over to Dawes, and here they go again, the Pies. They've got numbers everywhere. Didak back to Johnson. He's had a fair bit of it in this third term, and then tries to hit up a target in Jolly, but his arms were chopped. And he'll win the free.
Well, Jolly and Brown, the 2 ruckmen for the Magpies, they've had 20 disposals, and there's certainly a free kick there. They've had 20 disposals. The Richmond pair, Brown and Graham, have had 4. And look, you've got couple of blokes who've been around for a long time in Jolly and Lee Brown. The Richmond pair are just kids, but it makes a difference when your ruckman can get field disposals.
He's had a good afternoon, Jolly, and this will test the legs, and he slots it through for his second.
Darren Jolly, for a big fella. Have a look at how he holds the ball. Nice and balanced, almost half and half. Nice stride. He's as good a kick as a big fella you've seen, isn't he? I mean, he's as balanced as anyone you've ever seen at that height. Lovely skills.
That was a beautiful finish. His 16th goal for the year.
Not only that, Tim, 16 goals, 4 behinds, so very accurate.
And that's why, because he holds the ball perpendicular and almost perfectly. He's about a quarter of an inch out.
Doesn't need a biomechanic.
No.
Gee, Collingwood are good at stripping their opponents of the ball. And here they go again. Dawes, oh, it's a good grab. He kept his wits about him as the ball dropped from his first grab at it, and he took it on the way down. Too far out.
Oh,
and he has a good target, and it's Beams. And he can go back and line them up.
Talking about the biomechanics, it's not... If they try and change someone, Rob, it's only when I get dark on it. You work with what you got, show your balances, show your strengths, and then work with it. Try and find your best run, your best angles, all that.
That's a really bad defensive work by the Tigers, because Dawes had that ball in his hands for a long time. They had plenty of time to cover, and they didn't.
Beams goalless thus far. The margin's blown out beyond the 10-goal mark. This has been as serious a hiding, I reckon, as I've seen this year. Beams hooks it a little. And the difference is 63 points, and there's a lot of time left in this match yet.
Well, the last time these two sides played, it was round 20 last year. It was the Pies by 93 points on that occasion. And there is still plenty of time. Newman short to Rance. One of 6 changes at selection on Thursday night. Jolly did well just to flick it back into play, and then side bottom hard up against the boundary line. Here go the Pies again. Black and white jumpers everywhere you look. Maxwell, the captain, kicks to half forward. Dawes from behind. Ball hits the deck. Jolly doing everything. He's kicking the goals, he's rucking, and he's applying the tackles, and he's giving away a free as well. Rance to Newman. Oh, that's a woeful kick, and here go the Pies again. Alan Didak showing one way, showing the other. A little bit of candy. How good am I?
You wonder why you still come to the footy, Rob, sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually an unashamed, a really good player watcher. Unashamedly, and I mean, you just could sit out. I'll do that. Now I'll do this. Bye-bye.
Pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah. Just knows, senses aware. Born with a footy in his mind. Just oh, do you like that?
He's happy.
Is that called a shimmy?
It's a shimmy.
A shimmy. Oh, look at... Hello. Bye. Goodbye again.
Play of the day.
Yeah.
I think it's called. I'm pretty pleased with that. And Magpie fans absolutely delighted with the whole thing. That's a high tackle, though, by Pendlebury. Nahas to take it. Richmond just on their knees now. Cousins pumping it in the revolt direction. Presti. O'Brien there too, but there's a free kick going Revolt's way.
I was really impressed with Revolt last week. He kicked 3 in a really bad losing side, 50-odd points against the Kangaroos. He's only got the one today. He's had a few shots. You'd like to see him kick 3. You just struggle to get 3 sometimes, don't you?
On your bad days, if you can kick 3, you've done well.
Yeah. And it's a bad team day. It's not such a bad day for him.
Just got the distance from about this territory in the first quarter. He has another go, and he's done it again. That's a glorious kick. His second.
Yeah, he hasn't had a million opportunities. It's been a good contest, hasn't it? If you took it one-on-one, it's probably about break-even at the moment. Riewoldt gets another one on a really, as I said, bad team day. Certain free kick, not a problem. If he kicked a bit straighter, he may have already had his 3. But that's a really good sign for long-term, I reckon, that you can manufacture something from nothing.
Yep.
He's been good on the long shot today. The 2 goals have both been from outside 50. The ones from inside, he's missed.
Yeah, driving's been good. The putting's been no good.
And 2 this afternoon to Jack Riewoldt takes him up to 63 for the year, ahead of Barry Hall on 54. Pies in the centre. Pendlebury wide to Wellingham. Might have coughed it up here. A rare turnover by Collingwood. And now the Tigers through Webberley to half forward. Riewoldt territory again. He's presenting on the awkward half volley. Picked it up really well and then just tried to do a little bit too much. And as a result has coughed it up. Beams short to Swan.
Disposal number 26 coming up for Dane Swan. Shane Tuck with 16 has the most for the Tigers.
Reid back to Swan. Let's make it disposal number 27. And now Johnson.
Look at him run. Look at him go.
Here he goes again. He's got it. He charges through the centre. He's got too much toe for Deledio and then kicks to half forward, and it's Jolly again. In fact, it's Brown rather. The only Collingwood player that wouldn't be enjoying watching this right now is Josh Fraser, because Lee Brown has smacked it into the post.
Second time he's done that, Kelly. And he knew what he was doing. He knew he was on his limit, so he wheeled around, got some momentum up.
If you were a betting man, Rob, and I say if, I underline that.
Yes.
Josh Fraser, any chance to get back in and play his 200th sometime this year?
Oh, look, if there's an injury, but he's not going to take Lee Brown's spot. No way.
It's hard to see an opening at the moment, although Mick has said he'll get to his 200. Here's Morton snaring a mark for the Tigers.
Mick said that, has he, Tim? Oh, look, I'm sure in the next 6 weeks or so there'll be an opportunity to bring him back in.
Difficult situations, aren't they? And with a serious finals campaign approaching, I wouldn't think Collingwood would be wanting to take liberties. Here goes Rance for the Tigers. And he gives to Edwards. Post, Tuvey got plenty of ball, but the mark was paid by the umpire. Collingwood fans not happy, even with the game won a long time ago. Farmer, good kick to Morton, who leans back, goes long. Here's Jumping Jack. Got his hands onto it, couldn't finish the job. Webberley, his fellow Taswegian. Cousins now kicked a goal in the second quarter. Has a go from a long way. Margin 63.
Here's Jumping Jack. Oh, and it was only the strong Presty spoil that prevented the mark, because he timed his...
Here goes Goldsack again, and he's absolutely barreled this. Probably fell about a metre short of the last one. It was a long bomb straight down the centre. I think he's listening to you, boys. Enjoying the commentary. The Tigers, though, through Deledio. Bouncing ball, it's tumbling, hard one to pick up. King eventually does. Off to Martin, he's all class, the first-year rookie. It's a bouncing ball, it might go through for a goal, it does. A little bit of luck for Dustin Martin.
Well, you know what? We won't see another torpedo come down the middle. We won't see another torpedo because it's come back for a goal to Richmond. And I reckon Mick might say no more. What they needed to do here, the Magpies, was flip it over the back. Look at Didak running in to read the hit over the back. All the Magpie players going forward, anticipating the hit over. They just couldn't get that ball to flow on. And the Tigers able to bring it back. Lucky goal. The bounce favoured Martin. But I reckon that might be the last of the Torps.
I reckon if you're 5 points down in the grand final and Collingwood are there, and you've got 23 seconds, Rob, and the other team has just kicked the point, why wouldn't you practice it?
Oh, look, I think it's a terrific ploy to have, yeah.
That was the boomerang torpedo. Came back to hurt them. Here's Nason to Morton, who likes to kick a goal, but he goes for Riewoldt. Presty with him. Good one-on-one. Difficult spot.
Wow, that's pretty impressive what Jack Riewoldt did. He knew before that ball came into his hands which way he was going to twist and turn, and he had the confidence to go onto his non-preferred side, the left, and he didn't miss by much.
Here's Goldsack again on the kick in.
Never again.
The shortest kick you can imagine to himself, and then long, and that was pinpoint accuracy to Lockyer. And this is where they can really hurt you, Collingwood. On the burst, Wellingham. Kick just lets him down. Chopping it off was Farmer.
Yeah, saw it coming, closed quickly. Kicks to a contest, hoping for Tuck. Gets Pendlebury. Tuck might have had a digit or two on it, but not enough to get the umpire to declare a draw. Brown to O'Brien, loves to get forward and load up. Luke Ball at the back, is it? Yes, it is. And he did that well, and he can have a go at them. The goal kicking list still just 8. Kel, there hasn't been any addition in this quarter, but Luke Ball could become a 9th here.
Well, he's done that well because he's up against Chris Newman, Richmond captain, and used the body very well, just chested him under the footy.
Man on the mark, inside 40. Should be a goal. It's not.
And that is the knock on Luke Ball. He's kicking.
Played every game but just the one miss this season with that groin injury. So a good return for the Pies.
Haven't been quite as adventurous with their kickoffs, Richmond, have they? It's a bit, those 30-metre safe kicks, roughly.
Very stagnant, and this one could come back to hurt them as well. Jolly, defensive spoil over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in about 30 around from the Pies goal. Another good crowd in here this afternoon. 81,000 last week. The Saturday before that it was Hawthorn and Geelong, and there were 70,000. So another big Saturday afternoon crowd packed in at the MCG. I know Pies fans loving every minute of it.
Clearances, and Collingwood leading the way with the clearances, and that's been an area where Richmond has been really strong in the last 6 weeks. So that's a real win to the Maggies.
In all fairness, Rob, I must say when I saw the 6 changes.
Worries you?
Yeah, always when you have that many changes, it just, they had a bit of momentum. I know they got beat last week, but they had a bit of momentum before then, and you just think, the luck just didn't fall their way for this, you know, because most of them were injuries. Yeah,
and Daniel Jackson being out with suspension hurts them because he's a really good player.
And Cochin on top of that as well.
Cochin, they dropped Tambling, and deservedly so. He was disappointing last week. Daniel Jackson, geez, become a good player for them.
But Thursfield and Moore, they've been beaten in the tools in the forward line, haven't they? And they're 2 likely types going forward.
So Collingwood by 57. Polo to Rance. Edwards, he was loading up for the hand pass, and then he realised that the clenched fist hand was being held.
Kick, go.
King, who's done some good things, and that was one of them. To Morton, to Nason, just had to wait for a moment, and then hurried his kick, and it's straight to Reid.
Reid's been really good for the Magpies. It's only his 22nd senior game, but he's held his position as a key defender for all of this year. He's been very good.
Started as a forward as well, and then moved back.
That Nason kick, was that a decision error? A decision-making error or a bad kick? It was hard to tell from here.
I think he thought Riewoldt might double back.
Yeah,
Here's Didak giving it off. Lockyer. Final minute of the third term. It's the Pies by 57. They've kicked 4 goals to 2 in this third quarter. 6 in the first, 5 in the second, 4 in the third. Taking their foot off the pedal ever so slightly. As Reid gives it off to O'Brien, who takes the mark right on the stroke of 3/4 time. And it is the Pies extending their lead. They're out to 57.
Yeah, and it's a bit more of the same, Kelly, really. It's they've dominated. Not as much that quarter. I mean, Richmond have had their moments, but by anybody's standards, it's pretty convincing from Collingwood for the first 3 quarters.
Been steadily extending the lead. It is 57 at the last change at the MCG.
I want to go a shiggy. You ever heard of a shiggy? It's part of a shimmy and also a boogie, Kelly.
I'm concerned about your moves on the dance floor if you think that's a boogie, Malcolm.
It's a shiggy.
And maybe you can show us when we get off air later. Underway to start the fourth quarter. The Pies aiming to make it 5 straight and cement their spot on the top of the AFL ladder. Here he is, Swan. Out wide again, loose players already. This is Lockyer.
Interesting, the Magpies have started Jolly on the bench to give Lee Brown the ruck work.
And giving some rest time as well to Didak, who started on the bench as well. This will be a Richmond ball. Newman brings it across the face to Morton. Back in the side, hasn't seen too much of it this afternoon. They share it around the defensive 50. McGuan links up with Deledio, and that's a risky pass because it's been chopped off by Pendlebury, who, a little too cute, was looking to land on Davis's lap.
If it's a mistake, it's a good mistake by Pendlebury because he was so unselfish. He could have had the shot at goal.
Well, every time the Tigers break, the Magpies come closing in on them. Martin got it to Cousins, to Webberley, but closing on him came Ben Johnson and forces a throw in. Rob, you were talking about the Magpies. They were beaten in a preliminary final last year by Geelong by 73 points. What's the major difference between this team then and now?
I think that last year they had Jack Anthony at full forward for most of the year. They no longer have that set up. They've got a nice mixture of players who they share the goals through. You've got a back line with, Goldsack doing his bit, Tuvey doing his bit, Wellingham's come into the team, and also the 2 players that they got from other clubs. Jolly's been fantastic in the ruck, and I think Luke Ball has been really good for them as a hard in and under midfielder. And then you've got Swan, who I think has taken his game to another level, and their half back line of Maxwell, Harry O'Brien, and he's short. That's as good as any half-back line in the competition. So there's a lot of areas that they've improved.
A lot of natural development. And this young second-season player, I suppose, typifies it. His kick is across the face. And Collingwood's lead is 58.
2 behinds for Dane Beams this afternoon. You mentioned, Rob, no superstars. They've got 7 rookies, or former rookies, in this team this afternoon. Blair and Jolly, Lockyer, McCaffer, O'Brien, Tuvey, and of course the captain in Maxwell. So
one of the things Collingwood's done really well in the Mick Malthouse era is to develop young players.
It's a bit different to what Sheed said during the week, Rob.
Yeah, I think Sheed was well and truly off track with his comments. He said Collingwood struggled to score. They're the 2nd highest scoring team in the competition behind Geelong.
They're proving him wrong, and Leon Davis just adds a little touch of magic.
Good disciplined kick, wasn't it? We talk about trying to get the ball to the front of the goal square, and almost there, almost perfect, and Leon Davis read it better than anybody. Great hands that. Can't believe how quick that came to him then. He just accepted it beautifully. Didn't snatch at it, let the ball hit his hands.
Now, Malcolm, I've got a question for you. We're looking at Prestigiacomo and his opponent, Jack Riewoldt. They are the only 2 players to have played every second of this match. They've been out there for 100% of the time. Presti 4 touches, Riewoldt 8 and 2 goals. Who's won the contest?
I think it's very even at the moment. I think Presti will have to Rewell will have to get a couple of goals to beat him, but I think it's been a really good contest. They haven't been to the ball a lot, and that's one of the tragedies of playing full forward in a bottom team sometimes.
Yep.
It can go against you.
I tell you what, you say in a bottom team, well, they're well and truly down near the bottom, the Tigers. If he wins the Coleman medal, what an achievement that'll be.
Yep.
Here's Leon again. He's just kicked his third. Not sure who he was after there. Morton for Richmond. To Rance. McGuan. McCaffrey keeping them honest. Now Asprey. Cross the goal face. Swan saw it coming. Saw the moment of opportunity. Seized it. Wants to give it away.
He was like a man possessed, wasn't he? He just got those little legs, those little chunky legs going and threw himself at the footy.
Very little knee lift in that run. It's a low chopping run.
Is it a shuffle or a shimmy, Malcolm?
Here we go.
Let's see about his kicking. That's called a miss.
Yeah.
Collingwood by 65.
Let's have a look at him. Look at him go there. Eyes on the footy. Sticks.
You're talking about bottom teams and 100 Coleman medalists and all that. The argument is, when was the last 100 goal kicker played in a premiership side? You know, and there's a lot of arguments to say that hasn't happened for a long time.
Yeah. Jason Dunstall, would it? How about your man Modra?
No. Just missed. Had an injury.
Tigers working it around. I'll leave Tim to ponder that one.
I think it might be Matthew Lloyd in the great Essendon side of 2000.
Well, that's not long ago. You fed us a bum steer.
No, but it's one in not very many.
You had us believing it was about 100 years ago.
Have a look at this. This is fantastic. Damien Hardwick with the whiteboard and the texter educating one of his players. I guess that's the value of hands-on, talking to the player as it happens.
Pies by 65 points. A rare foray forward here for the Tigers. Nason swoops, fumbles. O'Brien picks it up. The black and white army go up as one. They love him. Kick straight to Connors, though.
Perhaps Buddy Franklin did it in 2008, Tim. So we haven't had a lot of them. I said, no, hang on. What's happening?
Connors has kicked it out of bounds on the fall.
I prefaced that, if I can go back, just rewind that what I said. I said there are a lot of people that said having a 100 goal kicker doesn't mean you win premiership. I disagree with it.
It's a long time since it's happened, Malcolm.
I suppose 2 years. 2 years can seem a long time.
No, I did say I don't agree with it. I'm glad. Has it?
Trouble is, you had me believing. I fell right in with you. I was trying to help you sort it out. Nuts Coventry.
Just stick to the shimmy.
No, I was saying I didn't believe it. I was just trying to. I was searching, Rob.
I know.
You gave me donuts.
Now I know what all those players who played under you were talking about.
Oh, Tim.
I think we should come next week wearing our Indian headdresses, but we'll talk about that later. Here goes Thomas. And finds Reed.
The scoreboard's not ticking over at the moment, obviously.
Lockyer for the Magpies. Collingwood by 65. They're doing it in a canter, but certainly the intensity's gone out of the game, and it's barely even intense practice stuff at the moment. Didak running under the ball, or the kick from Dawes overshooting him. And Martin, that's not a good look for Richmond fans, as their star recruit, one of the favourites for the Rising Star Award, has landed awkwardly.
Right on his back, Tim. Right on his lower part of his back. He's winded, but he's up and away.
Tough boy. Again, the Tigers work it around in defence, but they've come unstuck doing this many times today. Nason's got it. And puts it back whence it came, to Asprey.
You can find a loose player at half-back in Delidio. And lovely pass, hits post. He's a good mate, young Jaden Post. Hasn't had too many opportunities in the senior side. Edwards is caught. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Dawes. A ferocious tackle. The Sting well and truly out of this game. Some of these Magpie players are playing for their spot in the 22.
See, I must say, I looked ahead of the game then, and I saw Rewald in a really advantageous position. Just a quick kick on the forward line, one-on-one. He did stay back. Would have been fantastic to watch.
Two ruckmen flew in that contest. Pendlebury stayed down, and he's looking for Lockyer, and he hits him.
Beautiful kick.
Lockyer unselfishly centering kick. Dane Beams, he's kicked 2 points this afternoon. A chance to go back and become the 9th goal kicker for Collingwood.
And Pendlebury just uses the ball so well. Tends to handball a lot. And what's he done today? He's had 12 kicks and 13 handballs, but just great composure. Inside 50 marks, as you can see, domination 20-6.
So Dane Beams, we're right behind him. He splits the middle, and the Pies continue to inflict significant damage.
Kicks his goals, doesn't he, Beams? He's it's been a handy addition actually in the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, he averages a goal a game. But unselfish play, like Lockyer. Could have easily been excused, go back and have a shot, but tended to set the junior teammate up.
Dustin Martin having a break after that awkward fall on his back a moment ago. Collingwood's lead out to 71. It's going to be another uncomfortable week for non-Collingwood supporting Melbourne dwellers. The Magpies and their fans are riding high, and here they go again. Didak, Brown, who's been very good, back to Didak, trying to get it back to Brown. The Tigers have the numbers this time around. Edwards just pinged for holding it a moment ago in the lead up to that last goal. Lays a tackle here. Ball up.
Grab the ball, that's fine. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Shane.
Tough day for all of the Tigers. Many quite light bodies, and this Collingwood team has developed in so many ways, not the least in a physical sense over the last 2 or 3 years. Here's Thomas to ball. Too far out. 50 crowded. Ball sits it. Davis waiting down at the back. Takes the crumb. Quicksilver hand pass, and Jolly not expecting it.
Yeah, you're right. He was too quick and slick for his teammate. Average games for a Richmond player today is 55. So you're talking about less than 3 seasons of senior football. Very, very young side. It's the youngest side that's being fielded this weekend in the AFL.
Leon Davis looming. Kick 3 this afternoon. Has a different role this year and has probably been a little quieter than last year. Played more in the midfield last year.
All-Australian last year, Kelly.
How have you seen his season compared to this season?
Oh, not as brilliant, but you're right. He's had limited opportunities because he's played more on the forward 50.
Davis again. Comes out wide. Thomas. Beams. Gang tackled. Richmond under siege. McGuan gives it off to Naha. So that was a good little shimmy. And then goes long. And putting his body on the line was King, and he's absolutely flattened Brown, his teammate. And Brown a little slow to get up. Meanwhile, the Pies send it forward yet again. Wellingham this time takes the mark.
Smallest member of the team's taken out the biggest.
Yes, and we'll see it happening here. Shows a lot of courage, Jake King. Enormous courage, but his big ruckman teammate, well, he didn't protect himself very well, the ruckman.
He just lost balance with just a slight nudge.
Oh,
that was brave from Jake.
Oh, it was. It's like a good old 1950s ruckman, this fella, doesn't he, Andrew Brown?
Gee, there have been some red noses streaming claret already in this round, haven't there?
I thought you were going to our Prime Minister there for a moment, Tim.
Wasn't quite sure where he was going with that.
Sport and politics don't mix.
No, of course not. I'm glad.
Andrew Brown, the boy from Mansfield. What an introduction to the AFL. As Tim mentioned earlier, his debut was the Cousins v Judd game when they got done by 80 points. Long time between drinks. Second game this afternoon, smashed again. Here's Wellingham. 8 goals, 10 so far this season. Make that 8 goals 11, so a little inaccurate in front of goal.
Kelly, we've just had 133 phone calls. I made that up, really. we're trying to figure out what a 1950s ruckman looks like, Rob.
Big, a little bit slow, and rough tumble red hair.
Did you see him on TV? You couldn't see him on TV. We didn't have TV
No, it was
then.
black and white TV. You got me there. But I can remember Mopsy Fraser, and I'm thinking Jack Dyer, Mopsy Fraser, Roy Wright, all the great old Tigers.
Well, the Tigers are producing their best movement of the day. Eventually it came unstuck. Webley, though, keeps it alive. Post mown down by Pendlebury. Goes back and has another go with support from Tuck. And Cousins running into a Magpie wall. And this has been the story all day. Collingwood too strong, too good, and too much team for Richmond, and they turn defence into attack. Wellingham placing it into half forward. Brown from behind. Blair waiting down. He's brave. He copped it. He kept it going. And Davis, it's coming back for Leon. That's his fourth. That was neither shimmy nor boogie, but he is a very satisfied man.
And I'll tell you what, Tim, the Collingwood players rent a little Blair. Here he is, number 47. He takes the whack and keeps the ball alive. And it's a good effort. There's the hit. Sidebottom does really well to get just a little chip kick. And we'll just see under pressure, he's just able to free it up. And whilst Leon kicks his fourth goal, it was the young Magpies who did the hard work. And isn't that fantastic to see Leon Davis go up to young Jared Blair and say, well done, young fella.
So Leon Davis with the 4 goals. Jared Blair, this is his 4th game for 4 wins. He would be pinching himself out there in the middle at the moment. It's the Pies by 78 points. The Tigers scoreless in this last stanza. Final siren can't come quick enough for them. Ball too easy out the centre. Side bottom. Turns and then just pokes it to Didak on the 50. His eyes are darting. He's trying to conjure up something. Sends it inside 50. Blair couldn't take the mark. Now the Tigers can clear. They've got the numbers. Nason trying to mop up. Pressure being applied by McCaffer. And now Nahas away.
And tries the other side. There's just been no escape for the Tigers all day.
Gee, they go sideways a lot. Backwards and sideways.
Sideways.
Well, credit to Collingwood. They have just zoned Richmond out and done it aggressively too. They haven't. It hasn't been passive zoning. They've worked them over, and Richmond just haven't had the answer. They haven't been able to absorb it.
It's a fascinating word, Robert.
Sideways.
Yeah, sideways.
Well, you're seeing plenty of it here.
Yeah, no, that's
touch ball.
It's amazing.
Good movie, Sideways. Did you see that a couple of years ago?
No.
We'll keep the football going then. Here's Brown again, been a very impressive contributor. Not a good placement. Oh. Tigers with the numbers. Delidio did that well. Tuck, Cousins, rare fumble. Tuck receiving again. Polo hasn't had the best of days. Did well there. Extra well. If the kick's good, we'll give it 3 ticks. Revolt, well done, Reid. Took it away from him. Attacked the ball. Took the risk and comes out of it with a free.
And Presty's been given a spell at last. So the only player to play every second is Revolt.
Harry O'Brien on the burst. The crowd on its feet. He might have tried to do a little bit too much. Play on, says the umpire. Blair overruns it. Now Nahas tucks the ball under his arm. Away he goes to Cousins. Probably only got a handful of games left in his career, you would suspect, the former Eagle. Over the top to King. Bronx cheers. High ball. Goldsack does it too easily. Kept his feet. And then just splits the defenders. There is a confident player. Reid.
It's important, Kelly, that Maxwell, who we see kicking there, has got through this game, coming back after that calf injury.
How have you seen his return? Hasn't played in 6 weeks. He's been missing 4 as the ball comes to the top of the goal square. Jolly and Goldsack again racking up the numbers out to Thomas.
He hasn't been great, but he's been good. And the important thing is that he's got through unscathed.
It's been a team effort from Collingwood. We were discussing at 3/4 time who might take the votes. Is it Swan by dint of massive accumulation again? And perhaps it's not, but they share the ball around. This time they give it up. They share it with their opponents. And Tuck from a long way put it in the revolt direction, but he had 2 against him and was not able to get involved in the contest. Jolly takes the mark, and he is a real plus for Collingwood. Thomas towards O'Brien, but Jake King did well. Cousins' hand pass a bit tired. Newman, and the big fellow Brown is back.
Mopsy
Brown, the 1950s ruckman, can go back and line them up for the Tigers and kick his first goal in league football in his second game. He's played almost 2 completed games now, and they've both been absolute horrors. Round 1 last year, and today similar margin. He comes in from 40, and you just knew it was always going to happen. He's still goalless.
He looks a little bit like one of your old teammates, Malcolm. Does Andrew Brown. Crackers Keenan.
Well, he had a great career, Crackers, so if he does anywhere near that, it'll be fine.
Goldsack takes on a couple.
Oh, how far?
Handballs over the top to Thomas, and now to the run of O'Brien. Goes along up the line. Mark spilt by side bottom, and gives it over the top now to Davis, and some run. Dane Beams can have a bounce. He can close to 50 and unload, and guess what? All by himself, Lee Brown spins around, and it's party pies here at the MCG.
Well, they got him behind again, didn't they? And it's happened not so much lately, but certainly early in the game. They split it open, and Collingwood are very good at leading back into space. And here's another occasion where it really was a soda in the end.
Three goals and 2 posters from Lee Brown. Could so easily have 5. They have their mortal enemy next week, and then they have Geelong.
And they've got a nice run at the MCG. In fact, I think they play every game, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Between now and round 22 at the MCG.
Yeah, Mick's got his bed just up the back here.
It's a very cosy bed to lie in right now. Collingwood leading Richmond by 83 points. They've turned on a clinic here today. That was wonderfully done by Scott Pendlebury, just floating back with the flight and balanced it on one finger virtually. Now Jared Blair, who took a knock to set up a goal earlier. He looks so short in this era of tall footballers. He put that out on the full. He's 174 centimetres, Blair, so he's about 5'8".
I mean, that's what makes this game great. You can be 7'3" or 5'4", and you can still get a berth. You know.
There aren't many, though, that short now, are there?
Not as many, no, that's true.
Certainly not the shortest in the league. The honours go to the West Coast player Lewis Broom, 167 centimetres. A rookie for the Eagles, yet to make his senior debut. As Blair with the ball in his hands, but he'll have to give it back because it was out of bounds on the full. Dan Connors kicks to the attacking side of the wing, but it's all Collingwood. Goldsack's been really good.
He has been good, Tyson Goldsack. He's just got a nice spring about him, plenty of pace.
A good torp.
And he kicks a lovely torpedo, Tim. We've seen that happen twice today.
Came in when Maxwell was injured, so he's played the last 6 or so. And, of course, Heath Shaw out of the side today, so he retains his spot. It'll be interesting to see whether he can continue to stay in the senior side as Didak sends it forward. It clears doors, but Blair's there. He's got time. Handballs over the top to Swan. He's in 2 minds. In the end, goes by foot over the top of Wellingham. Here's Davis. He's got 4, side bottom. They certainly are moving forward. Finally trapped in and under. McGuan holds up Wellingham. There's the bounce hand pass out to Cousins, and now to the run of Rance. Got nowhere to go, the Tigers. And they're counting down until the final siren.
Gee, they retreat a lot. They go backwards a lot, the Tigers.
Says something, though, for Collingwood's pressure. Here's Deledio. Might be on his way to a third consecutive best and fairest this year. Only 2 Tigers have done it. The legend Captain Blood and Ron Branton back in the early 60s. It's Asprey, he's been pretty good down the back. He's tried hard. Magwanda, Cousins, and a big Angus Graham behind the wing. Don't switch off with this match, obviously in the book for Collingwood. We've got our extended Saturday after match again today. Coaches' press conferences and interviews. Webley brought down with a crushing tackle, and Blair takes it away. Beams, Didak, Pendlebury. It really is a matter of who's going to kick them. Davis has been the man most likely, and he might have 5 staring him in the face. But Delidio arrives, and Leon will have to try and do it from the throw-in. Tyson Goldsack laying the tackle, bringing Jeremy Webley well and truly undone.
Ball spinning back into play. Brown assumes front position, palms it down. Wellingham's there, and then they apply the gang tackle on Asprey, a youngster from Ballarat.
Well, I think that fella there, Damien Hardwick, obviously Mick Moldhouse is very happy, but Hardwick would understand that this was probably going to happen when he took the role on, that you're going to have some really good days, which they've had, but there's going to be some shockers as well.
Swan creative, tries to centre it. Oh no, they've coughed it up, the Tigers. Running in was Tuvey. Was smothered. Ricochets back to Richmond. Brown stills it though. He's been everywhere this afternoon. Back to Goldsack. We know he's a thumping kick. He goes back to Brown, and now they just skirt the perimeter. Thomas to O'Brien. The crowd says go long, Harry, go long. Hasn't got the carry, and the free's been picked out. It's going to Rance.
Inside.
So Richmond's ball. Davis just flirting with the 50-metre penalty there. Rance, Goldsack from behind, and he caps off a very good day. He's done a little bit of lots of things today. This is an ambitious kick, and it was always going to be difficult for O'Brien. McCaffer, who kicked 3 goals early. Here's Revolt up the ground. He dallied. He needed to get the hand pass off. And Cousins, who was waiting for it, looking visibly frustrated.
Just a question to you, Malcolm. It's been 8-16 inside 50s Collingwood's way. Jack Revolt hasn't touched the ball or hasn't had a disposal this quarter. Would you give him a run at centre-half back? Just to develop him, teach him?
I think it's a good idea. It's going to be down there a fair bit. It's probably, even then, I mean, he got the ball in the middle of the ground and there was no one forward of him. And I'm still a bit keen, and I know you've got to try some things, but just a bit keen for it to stay a bit more structured.
Yeah.
And it's, look, you know he can kick goals, and it probably doesn't hurt his development anyhow, Rob.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, he hasn't had a disposal this quarter. The game's shot. Maybe just give him 10 minutes at centre half back. Put him on a doors.
Here's a go.
Or even if he plays in a midfield role, just broaden his education a bit.
So Revolt out ahead of Goldsack, and then it just around the body, bouncing ball across the face.
Well, you got him a kick anyhow, Rob. That's good.
Yes, he hasn't gone without a disposal in this final term.
66,727 filling the Melbourne Cricket Ground this afternoon. If you're wearing black and white, you'll go home pretty happy. Revolt off the ground. And King dispossessed. Morton goes again off to tuck. Just a flying shot and a flying miss. Won't be the biggest loss for the Tigers this year. The margin is 82 points, but their biggest loss came against the Cats down in Geelong in round 6. That was 108 points.
I think this could have been more. Collingwood have won with plenty in hand, not just on the scoreboard. Vast gulf between the teams, and the Magpies demonstrating again today that this 2010 model is very much for real. Lee Brown bringing that down, but it's all over. It is the Magpies by 82. They're still on top, and they're going to take a lot of beating.
Side by side, they stick together.
Collingwood 6 goals in the first, 5 in the second, 4 in the third, 4 more in the last. You fancy they could have stretched the margin a little more if they'd really wanted to?
Well, Tim, it's the best way to win a game of football. You win every quarter as it goes by. You can see the Richmond players there. They've won 5 of their last 8 games, the Tigers, but outclassed today.
Let's get down